There's a character in Disney classics Hercules I want to talk about, and that's Hades.
Name is Hades, Lord of the Dead. Hi, how you doing?
Hades, the god of the dead. In the Disney movie, he does everything within his power to kill Hercules and take Zeus's place as king of the gods. What if I told you that was a big, fat lie? Don't get me wrong, he's definitely one of my favorite characters from Disney. I mean, come on. Flaming blue hair that explodes when he gets upset. 6-year-old me's mind was blown. And he's one of the many reasons I got into mythology in the first place. But Disney completely lied and twisted the god of the underworld. It's because of this I want to break down Hades' true story as told in Greek and Roman mythology, in which he is rightfully feared but far less of a caricaturized bully with brother issues. Before we dive into Hades' origin, we should start with a flashback of Disney's Hades. I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with him, but there's several points of comparison between Disney and mythology. So let's refresh. The king of the underworld made his debut in Disney's 1997 hit Hercules, where he is visibly unhappy with his godly duties given to him by his brother Zeus.
You know, a little dark, a little gloomy, and as always, hey, full of dead people. What are you gonna do?
Sick of being the dead's keeper, he crafts a plan to take the throne by kidnapping and killing Zeus's newborn son, and releasing the Titans who were in prison long ago. Throughout the movie, we see Hades' personality. He's manipulative, merciless, and he has no problem causing as much pain and panic as necessary to get his way. He has 2 minions, Pain and Panic, as well as a 3-headed dog, Cerberus. Most of the time, Hades is cool and collected, but the slightest thing can set him off, and his only redeemable quality is that he never breaks a deal once it's made. He's almost nothing like his mythological counterpart, so let's see the story Disney missed out on. Many are familiar with the Greek gods, but not everyone knows where they came from. Yep, Hades had parents. Before the Olympians rose to power, there were 2 generations of divine beings, the primordial deities and the Titans. Hades was the 4th child and first son of the Titans, Kronos and Rhea, the king and queen of the cosmos. Kronos took that title from his father Uranus, which he did by severing his testiculars and throwing them in the ocean. Afterward, Kronos was told by his mother Gaia, the earth deity, and his eunuch father, who for some reason still talked to Kronos, that he would suffer a similar fate. Kronos loved his power and held his family jewels close to prevent this from happening. He literally ate his first 5 kids, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. 5 times was apparently too much, and Rhea was sick and tired of her husband eating her kids. So when Zeus was born, she did it in secret in a cave on the island of Crete. Meanwhile, Kronos couldn't tell the difference between a rock and a baby, eating that instead of Zeus. Years passed, and Zeus was being raised by nymphs, possibly the same ones Phil was chasing in the movie. When he reached adulthood, he learned of his true identity, as well as what happened to his siblings, and was determined to free them. Zeus was given a medicine that makes you puke, and he tricked Kronos into drinking it, causing him to throw up them kids. It was then Zeus declared himself king, but Kronos wasn't gonna let that slide. An epic war between the gods and the Titans broke out and lasted for 10 years, with neither side able to grab that W. That is, until Zeus went to Tartarus and released the Hecatoncheires and Cyclops, who, as thanks, gave him thunder and lightning bolts to use as weapons. With their help, the Olympians were successful in overthrowing the Titans and banished everyone that opposed them to Tartarus, well, except Atlas, doomed to hold the heavens. When it came time to divide the territory, the 3 brothers drew straws. Zeus was given the air and sky, Poseidon the ocean, and Hades the underworld. So that is how the Olympian gods started their reign. Disney paid homage to this through the movie. Kinda, with the nod to Tartarus, freeing the Titans, the march on Olympus, and this guy. When it comes to Hades, he wasn't assigned the underworld, he got it by chance, and while not happy, he didn't hold any resentment, which was pretty much the foundation for the movie. So, what was Hades in mythology like? Well, the real Hades from Greek pantheon was one of the most well-known brothers in ancient Greece, next to Poseidon, god of the sea, and
Lucy, I'm home!
yes, Zeus, king of the gods. Why don't you go exploit Meg some more and let me finish my introduction? The one bad thing Hades in mythology is well known for would be falling too hard in love and kidnapping Persephone. See, he was struck by love and desire for Persephone. The beauty and grace of his niece, well, caused his head to explode. Oh god, that was terrible. And with the permission of Zeus, he abducted her. Long ago, in the faraway land of ancient Greece, there was a golden age of powerful gods and extraordinary heroes. The greatest, most honorable of these gods, Hades, who ruled the underworld, Tartarus. And unlike Disney's depiction, with the swirling pool of souls and the place of punishment and sorrow, that's more akin to hell from the Bible than the Greek underworld, Tartarus wasn't just a place of eternal damnation. It was also a paradise, with the fields of Elysium being the resting place for those who did great things, giving eternal happiness, and the Asphodel Meadows, where the souls of your average Joe ended up. It was that vast plain of souls wandering aimlessly, existing in a trance-like state of indifference, kind of like the DMV.
Well. It's a small underworld after all, huh?
Are you trying to say I'm ordinary?
Hey, relax. It's only halftime.
Hades from Myths was nothing like you fast-talking, fiery-tempered, deceitful...
Sorry, you mind running that by me again? I must have had a chunk of brimstone wedged in my...
He was more reserved, noble, and somber, so give it a rest. The entire plot of the movie, other than trying to take down Hercules, his actual name from mythology, was trying to overthrow Zeus. And while there was many attempts in mythology to overthrow the king of the gods, such as Hera trying to put him in a deep sleep with the help of Hypnos, as she conspired with Poseidon and Athena, ultimately failing. And then there's Metis, his first wife, while not directly trying to overthrow Zeus, a prophecy told of her giving birth to a child stronger than him, the origin story of Athena actually. But Hades stayed completely neutral and never tried to overthrow his brother from his throne, especially not by enlisting the help of the Titans. In fact, Hades and the other Olympians fought the Titans and locked them away during the Titanomachy, something that Disney kind of suggested that Zeus did all on his own. Helping the god of the underworld is something they just wouldn't do. I mean, he helped lock them away in the first place. Gaia was so enraged by their imprisonment, she gave birth to 12 giants. Being so powerful, the gods couldn't defeat them without the help of Hercules, and I don't even want to pretend how painful that must have been. And while Disney's villain was definitely charismatic, I don't believe that the Titans would be able to forget something like that. Wherever Disney got the idea to make Hades at war with the gods, didn't know much about the deity. In mythology, Hades could care less about the affairs of his siblings, or for that matter, the living. Far from the plotting matchstick sitting over there from his throne of lies. As powerful as Hades was, Disney kinda gave him plot armor. That very catchy rhyming prophecy was given to him by the Fates, who really could control the fate of all beings and were pretty much broken in terms of power. And while Disney's villain definitely has a silver tongue, being able to flirt with them, I don't think I could do the same thing. He also lost his temper and straight up yelled at the Fates, tempting fate. Literally, in two very, very different ways. But there's no way they could be manipulated or controlled by anyone. However, they were right. Zeus did indeed fall in the movie for a short time, thanks to the blunder of Hades' comedic servants, Pain and Panic. The Moirai, the Fates' name in mythology, nor Themis, the Titaness of Law and Order, ever attempted to overthrow Zeus, but if they tried, he'd have no choice but to roll over and take it. The Hades from mythology would have never attempted anything like this, like flirting with the Fates, tempting them, so kudos to the Disney villain for having that silver tongue. Heracles wasn't a god, he was a demigod, one of the many things Disney got wrong, which I'm going to be covering in the next video. And while the Disney villain struggled to take down Heracles, Hades from mythology wouldn't have had any trouble if he had tried, which he wouldn't do. And while Disney's depiction had him feign friendship to Heracles in order to manipulate him, the Hades from mythology actually helped the demigod, including lending him Cerberus for one of his 12 labors, on the condition he take him for a walk and bring him back. Which leads me to one of the biggest inconsistencies between mythology and Disney. At the end of the movie, Hades was punished by being thrown into the river Styx after losing terribly to Heracles. The river Styx was part of Hades' domain, which he had complete control over. It was where the dead paid the ferrymen to enter the afterlife. Such strange power scaling. He could manipulate the Fates and flirt with them, but an average swim for the myth was the punishment for the Disney villain. And unlike how he was depicted in the Disney movie, Hades was never the villain in Greek myth, helping those like Orpheus rescue his wife or lending Cerberus to Heracles for one of his 12 labors. And he definitely didn't plot to kidnap a baby god and turn him mortal, since Heracles was never a god to begin with. The absence of Pain and Panic in mythology does suck though. They were the best part of that movie. But there's one key difference between Disney's villain and mythology's Hades. Disney's Hades was forced into ruling the underworld.
I regrettably have a full-time gig that you, by the way, so charitably bestowed on me, Zeus.
In the myth, he chose it. It was just in his nature to be helpful, nice, kind. When he did get angry though, nothing would help you. While there's more differences than similarities, Disney's Hercules was an amazing movie, with the best, most repeatable quotes and an extremely long list of quote-worthy Disney movies. Not to mention it's the movie with my first crush.
Thirsty?
What's your favorite mythology-inspired character? Mine just so happened to be Hades, who gave
2 thumbs way up.
so close to ending the video without you interrupting me again. Next up, Heracles. What did Disney twist there? Find out in the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it.